Hello and welcome back to my Season 3 finale review. So, did this episode impress me and is actually a good finale, or was this a lot like the premiere, one of the worst episodes I've seen for The Walking Dead? And let's jump right into this with this episode. I can confirm it is not an episode 1 scenario. This is a decently paced episode. It is entertaining, it is enjoying, and there are some great character moments, especially for Daryl. I still don't understand the plotline they gave him, but I enjoyed it by the end, with Daryl realising that he's always been running and he can never feel like he's at home, and he's worried when he goes back it's going to happen all over again. And that has made the flashbacks make sense, and it's really interesting. I thought the flashbacks would be a little more personally, but I'm happy it's not because I wasn't really a fan of them. But I am really interested to see what they're doing with Daryl going forwards and how they're going to end this arc in the final season next year. I am really excited for that. I'm very impressed because at the start of the season I wasn't really caring for Daryl. I wasn't really even feeling Carol either. Both characters like meh on. But I'm excited for Daryl now. Carol, I'm enjoying that she has a romance option again. They better not kill off Antonio. I'm really happy he is still around and Carol can go further with that storyline into the final season. But the plot of the episode itself is a dual plot when we flip back and forth quite a lot. You have the Daryl plot, which is with Daryl breaking into the castle and trying to save all the girls, as well as take out almost all the royalty, which is quite insane. This episode has Daryl meet the king, kill the king, then he ends up setting up to have the new king, or the prince, who is kind of the big villain of the season. He's then murdered, and then he escapes with all the girls, and they all go to the town that was in Barcelona. And that is quite an insane finale. I was shocked that they killed off the king and all the royalty. I thought that the storyline would continue on. I was definitely expecting the prince to die, but to have the king introduced in this episode and then be murdered literal scenes later by Daryl just releasing some walkers was insane. They're not even giving him a name. In the credits he is just called King. So they didn't even give the king of Spain a name, which is quite insane. I thought that if you're going to have one more season, would it make sense to have the king, who is introduced in this episode, be the villain of the final 8 episodes? Nope. They are dropping the storyline. There is no more royalty in Spain because Daryl absolutely destroys them all. And it seems very easy. Daryl has a bit too much plot armor. I feel like previous seasons, Daryl has struggled more with the villain. This season he gets in, releases walkers, and saves everyone. That's my real only complaint about the Daryl plot, is that it's paced well, it's entertaining, there's good action, but Daryl is just too overpowered and everything is just dealt with too neatly. But then you have the Carol plot, which is where you have Fade. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but I'm going to keep calling him Fade. You have Fade basically having the town under martial law. Carol breaks back in to save Antonio. It goes wrong. She's then trapped in the town with Antonio. They try and escape, but then they are captured. And then Roberto and everyone at the lighthouse is then captured themselves. And then it leads to Daryl having to save Carol. And then we get another quick action set piece. And it's all resolved with Fade then being arrested. But the issue I have is it feels like Daryl teleports. He was kind of in the far east or south of Spain. But then you have Carol in the top west and north. And it felt like Daryl teleported across Spain to get to save Carol. It was very dumb. Daryl took 2 episodes of travelling to get to the king, but then you cut away and now he's on the other side of the country. It's very, very weird. It reminded me of Fear, where the characters are all over Texas and they were able to always contact each other and get into each other when Texas is a massive state. You have this entire country and Daryl travelled to almost the other side of the country and he was able to get back in time to save Carol. It just seemed like poor writing there, and it seems like they just wanted to deal with the Fade stuff so they could arrest him so that they can be like, we're gonna go home, and then Fade's released so he has one purpose: to go to the beach, try to kill Daryl, fail, and blow up the boat. I'm really annoyed. That was his whole purpose. He's just there to blow up the boat. We do, though, get a really cool scene with Hurt playing, but in Spanish. But outside of that, I'm just really annoyed that that's how they stopped them going back for one more season. is that they had to be like, we need the villain to escape so that he could blow up the boat. And then I assume he died. I don't really know what happened. He gets hit in the head of the rock and that's it. They don't focus on him. He's either escaped, just led on the floor by the end of the episode unconscious, or he died like that just after blowing up the boat. Really, really annoying. I can't get over it. But outside of the ending, this is an enjoyable episode. But I have one more thing I want to talk about, and it is a big spoiler. So big spoilers. There is a character return in this episode, and somehow Caudron, who we last saw in season 2 episode 6 running off into the tunnel looking for his dead brother high on bat poo, is now in North Spain. And I'm going to have to make a video on this because it makes absolutely no sense. He has travelled across 2 countries. We've had it in The Walking Dead where characters have reunited and it seems a bit implausible like it happened with Morgan, but they're still in America and there was clues where Rick was going. Caudron has had no clues where Daryl was and he ended up in North Spain when we last saw him on his way to England. Seems a bit like poor. It's definitely the worst writing I've seen in ages. They have to really, really hit gold to explain how he's travelled across 2 countries. But outside of that reveal, it doesn't really do much. It's just, oh, he's in 2 scenes. I think it's probably a reshoot because we see him at the start of the episode. Oh, it's Caudron, and right at the end when the boat blows up, Caudron's apparently on the other side of the beach or something and he sees the boat blow up. What? Very convenient, very poor writing. Season 4 has a lot of work to explain Caudron and to explain how Darren and Carol are getting home, because the whole thing of season 3 was they're going to rebuild the boat just for it to be blown up. This episode starts off really strong, has some great action, but just like falls apart in the last 10 minutes, I feel. So let's move over to my conclusion. And I would say overall, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3 episode 7 is a good season finale. This episode's everything you want. It has action, it's got good pacing, there are good character moments, and it does conclude the season story. It's just those last couple of minutes which I'm not a fan of, with them blowing up the boat, having this really dumb reason why they have to do another season, and I'm a bit unsure about the Caudron returning. It makes absolutely no sense. So I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. I was originally thinking an 8, but now I'm talking through all this, I'm like, yeah, I have maybe one too many issues to give this an 8, so it's a 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid ending, but it could be better. And as always, this is just my personal opinion, so please tell me down below, what do you think about the season finale for Daryl Dixon's season 3? So thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.